Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a beautiful Wednesday. And today we're going to be doing Saturn in the fourth house. Yes, sirree. Saturn in the fourth house. So, what happens when Saturn is in your fourth house in your birth chart? Well, what is fourth house, first of all? Fourth house is a house of your land, your homeland, your home, your house, your actual house structure. It's a house of your mother's education that you receive through your mother. That means mother's nourishment. It is also known as the house of education, yet not the graduate education that you graduate from high school. This is more like a middle school education, where second house becomes your early childhood education when you're in the kindergarten, first grade, second grade. So this house becomes very important. Now, fourth house is also the house of your conveniency, meaning that will you have cars, or will you have a nice big home with air conditioner? Anywhere you go, will you have conveniency in life? And how is your home life is going to be in terms of conveniency and happiness? Fourth house is the house of a peace of mind, because hey, home is where the heart is. So whenever you're in home, you're at peace. So when you look at these things, then you bring in Saturn into place. Saturn is what? Discipline, order, delay, restriction, boundaries. Okay, it's just about showing you reality of things. So this is what happens when Saturn comes into the fourth house. Saturn, especially since fourth house represents the mother, he gives a very disciplined mother, a mother who's going to be very disciplined towards you. Now, if your mind is not in coherence with the fourth house situation, or the fourth house's condition, you may not like that. But if your mom, but what happens is Saturn puts discipline into the home. He puts order into the home, like, and especially since he's in the house of mother, and Saturn doesn't like Moon. He just puts a lot of pressure on your mom because of you, and your mom becomes disciplined because of the situation. So with you particularly, and besides your other siblings, if you have other siblings, with you particularly, mother will be very disciplined and will be very hard. I don't want to use the term harsh. It's just she's going to be very much of a disciplinarian. She's going to be like, you do this is how you do it. When you come in the house, you do this, then you do the homework, then you do that. So, and then it just becomes a routine, because Saturn loves routine. So he makes this a routine till your adult age, until you separate yourself from the mother. Okay, so till then, it's going to put a lot of discipline in there. And Saturn is a very dull and dark planet. So what happens with Saturn here, even though Saturn may be in good position, but when you come home, you feel like, okay, you have to transform yourself into like a robot. You have to be somebody you're not, even though you may have a big home, beautiful wife, mother. But when you come in there, you just become this structured person. But here's the thing you want to realize about Saturn. Even though Saturn is in the original house of Moon, who he doesn't get along with, even though Moon doesn't care if he's in his house, because Moon is friends with everybody. But certain planets do not like Moon, especially like Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, and Mercury. Okay, these people are, they're kind of like they gang up on the Moon. But you got to remember something about the fourth house. What? Fourth house is known as a house called Kendra. Kendra house. Kendra. Kendra house. The first, fourth, seventh, and 10th house are known as the Kendra house, the inner plates in the Vedic astrological chart. These are the strongest houses in anybody's birth chart. These are the pillars of your home. So, you know, like if you were to build a home in a forest, you're going to need 4 pillars to put the roof on top. And if one pillar falls, the roof will fall. Okay, so here Saturn, who represents structure, okay, who represents, he also represents actual construction of home. So Saturn being in the fourth house becomes very strong. Saturn puts that discipline as a pillar of your life. So what he does here is that he, even though brings discipline in your life, he may give a bit of a distant relationship with your mother, but he's making you strong as a person who will value the value of home and land and peace of mind. So don't think that Saturn is becoming weak just because it's in the fourth house. So in the first, fourth, seventh, and 10th, Saturn is being part of a pillar. Okay. And if you want to look at other things, Saturn represents iron, coal, steel. Okay, so this person can be a builder. If Saturn is in a good dignity, if Saturn is in his own sign like Capricorn and Aquarius, or if he's in a sign of Venus like Libra and Taurus, he can represent a builder, a real estate builder, especially if Mars is there. But what about exalt Saturn in the fourth house? See, here's a bit of a troubling thing, because Cancer ascendant has Libra in the fourth house, where Saturn becomes excelled. But Saturn is a very adverse planet for Cancer ascendant. Why? Because Saturn rules the eighth house of unpredictability, death and rebirth, unknown events, accidents. So here, if Saturn is excelled, although he will do good, although he will give a very balanced relationship with your mother, but he will give you major ups and downs too, because he's still a lord of a certain house that is not good for this ascendant. So this is why it's very important to see when and why Saturn is excelled and why he may not be giving a good result. So if Saturn is excelled in Cancer ascendant, you may think if the Tasha comes, oh, I'm going to get everything good. Yes, your conveniency will be there, your home will be there, but the unpredictability of if you lose your home, get into an accident, lose your money, gain your money, all of these things will be a part of that Saturn. Okay, so just remember that. Education wise, Saturn is very well here, because why? Remember, it's a Kendra house. So Saturn is doing very well in terms of education, gives a person a solid foundation to stand on in life. And especially if Saturn is not debilitated, he's going to do whatever it takes to give you that strong foundation of educational background, of discipline of the mother, discipline in the home will make you a very professional person. Okay, these people can usually go into medical, being an attorney, or politics. Okay, so these are the three things that this Saturn does. But just remember that excelled Saturn will bring that ups and downs in that environment. So when Saturn is in the fourth house, again, what is he aspecting? What houses is he aspecting? Yes, he's aspecting the 6th, 10th, and the ascendant from where he says, because Saturn in Vedic astrology looks at the 3rd, 7th, and 10th place from itself. So here Saturn is looking at the 6th house of enemies, of diseases, okay, litigation, 10th house of career, authority, and your ascendant, your entire life being your health, the way your personality is, the way you kind of look. Okay, so in Saturn aspects the 6th house of diseases, and even represents the medical profession, because Saturn is now aspecting the 6th house of medical profession and 10th house of career. So Saturn's influence is on these two houses, which usually takes a person into medicine. Okay, it takes a person into government position. Why? Because 4th house is the most strongest regarding politics and government, because it represents the homeland, dealing with the homeland, people of the homeland. So when you have this, you'll be very well known in your homeland. Somebody may not know you across the world, okay, but in your homeland, you can be very well known in political sphere or any kind of sphere, your name would be there. Okay, and because its aspect is on the 6th house of enemies, Saturn is usually able to overcome his enemies unless he is debilitated or in an enemy sign. He's able to teach his enemies through discipline and sheer forcefulness and hard work that you will not be able to beat me, because he has a strong foundation from his life. 10th house of career, very disciplined. Okay, makes a person very disciplined, very promptly and on time about everything. And if you want to look at a lawyer, this actually is a very important placement for having somebody become a lawyer. Why? Because first of all, from 4th house, dealing with the homeland issues, he's looking at the 6th house of litigation. Okay, litigation meaning that court cases. Okay, and enemies, exactly what a lawyer does. He fights the enemy. 10th house of career with the 7th aspect. So Saturn influence is now in 10th house. A career will be around Saturn's energy. And then the ascendant, your entire life being is about Saturn, which is law and order. So this person, most likely, due to the support of Jupiter and Sun and Mercury, this person can go into law, medicine, and you have to look at the whole chart to determine the career of a person with this, but main thing you want to realize with Saturn in the fourth house is that he's bringing discipline into your entire life. Now, if he's debilitated or if he's in a sign of Cancer, he's going to make you lazy about all these things, because Saturn then becomes lazy. He's no longer the hard worker, the person who just keeps on doing the task, a routine task, like a machine, because Saturn represents mechanical jobs. So you can also be in the mechanical jobs as well, administrative jobs where you're using your hands and everything. Mechanical jobs, as in you could be a machinist, and there, if your Saturn is debilitated, you could be a construction worker in real estate, because it represents real estate in fourth house, and it's debilitated. So this is what you can see. But again, look at the whole planet, look at the D10 chart for the career. But your life is about being disciplined about everything, being orderly about everything. Here the delay doesn't really happen as much, because again, it's a Kendra house, the house where Saturn feels strong. Okay, Saturn doesn't do well in the Trikona houses. He does very well in the Kendra houses, very well. Okay, so guys, this was my analysis of Saturn in the fourth house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe above. And if you want to know where your Saturn is placed and your other planets are placed, check out the link below. Check out my book, The Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you the link to look at your own chart and your own Saturn placement. Just make sure you follow the directions below, please. Okay, otherwise I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye bye.